and welcome back to Total War Empire. Empire Total War is how I usually say it, and the 1600 AD Colonialism mod. Now, I've been doing the new Great War mod for Napoleon, and I did an event for another game this weekend, so it's been actually quite a while since I actually played this campaign. But I do remember roughly what was going on. One thing that I actually noted here was interesting. I was looking around seeing which capital produces most income, and obviously London is doing pretty well. I don't think we're doing as well as Paris as yet. They're slightly ahead of us. But as I was looking at that, I looked over at the Dutch, because of course the Dutch have been expanding quite a lot. They've got holdings in North Africa, 2 of them, and they have been able to rampage into Germany, so they've taken Cologne and Stuttgart. They've also, with that peace treaty with the French, they were able to secure for themselves Newfoundland. So you would imagine them doing pretty well, but if you actually look at their capital, and if we look there, they are experiencing bankruptcy. So it seems like the Dutch have overextended themselves quite a bit, to the point where their capital is losing 26 growth per turn, which is not great at all. Well, it is kind of great, because we were, as I remember, a little bit worried about the Dutch sprawling out like this. Especially the fact that they took places like Newfoundland, which I want, and a few other stuff like that. So, yeah, it's just good on them that they managed to end up in trouble with, well, the bankers. As we go down here, we've got Spain, and I torched the place and left it because I'm not intending to hold it, because there's quite a lot of Spanish troops coming down, and I don't think we would be able to hold out against them. And I kind of want to keep this army because it's a very experienced army, it's a very good army, and it has done good for me in the past. So we want to kind of keep that. Still would not just yet want to sign a peace treaty with Spain, although that's hopefully coming soon. What we want to do is we head over to America, is that we want to secure 2 different areas. So I really want New Orleans, and I really want Cuba. After we've secured that, we could see about signing peace with France and Spain. Now, war might erupt again, but hopefully by that time I will have had peace here in North America, enough so that I'd been able to actually consolidate, take time to actually invest in infrastructure here, make sure that maybe, you know, exempt a lot of these areas from tax, which would spawn a lot of towns. These towns would increase the value of the area, spawn a lot of ports, so we could be shipping a lot of the cash crop, such as cotton and tobacco, sugar as well. Don't forget the sugar. The main concerns now is we've got this one here. Now this went pretty well last time around. We were able to cut down half the army here. Now we're going to cut down the other army here. And once that's done, we'll be able to turn down, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to rout the French out of New Orleans. Once that's done, I don't really see a reason why to continue the war against France, and I'm pretty sure they will accept a white peace, hopefully, so we can peace them out. Then it's the Spanish. So once the French are out, I should be able to send my army with a fleet to attack Havana and take Cuba from the Spanish. Once that's done, we could see about signing a peace treaty with Spain, and in so doing, releasing these fleets out of these ports. One of the major things that we learned last time around, or was it last time? In one of the videos I did previously, was the fact that the French have superior naval technology. They've been rapidly I guess because it sort of burnt their ports and kept them under lock and key for a long time, they were able to spend a lot of their money instead of building a load of ships to actually improve their ships. So we ran into, well, maybe it could have been for the fact that I out-resolved the battle, and that was the major issue there, but we ran into the newer ships, which are more in line with what you would normally see in Empire, the ship of the line type ships, and they absolutely wrecked us. It was... how many ships was it? I can't remember. It was like 1 or 2 or 3 maybe, and they took down so many of my great galleons that I think they took like 4 of my great galleons. We captured... you know what? I think it was a single ship, right? Wasn't it one? It was just this ship. The 54 gun ship of the line. And it took out 4, or sunk 4 of my great galleons. 4 or 3 of them. So, yeah. We definitely have to step up that. That's kind of uncharacteristic, isn't it? That we're on the back burner, or we're far behind in terms of the naval supremacy. We were so assured of ourselves crushing the Spanish Armada that we completely forgot innovation, which is definitely needed. Oxford is doing improved canister shot, which I'm not entirely sure. There might be some better ones. Longitude Watch could actually be a lot better. Just knowing kind of the history about it, lime juice and sauerkraut is a definite need, because you would otherwise, without that vitamin... which vitamin is it? I can't remember. Is it vitamin B? Is it C? It's a vitamin that you definitely need. And usually you end up without going long trips on ships at sea, which meant you got scurvy, which kind of means that you slowly rot away. Old wounds open up, your gums start to bleed and your teeth fall out and stuff like that. So that's a really important stuff. And I know for a fact that the British specifically had plantations of lime on Sicily, I believe, and stuff like that. I think because it was kind of a while ago that I saw the documentary about it, and it was kind of a fluke as well. They didn't really fully understand why it sort of happened, but when they brought on limes and were able to distribute that to the men, they were able to not get scurvy. So they didn't, at that time, didn't fully understand it, but today we know that it's, a vitamin deficiency that leads to that. With all of that said, we're going to go ahead and kill this French army. We've got God on our side. He's his servant on Earth, Robert Watson here, frontier preacher. And we're gonna kill them, and hopefully we'll be able to start at least the march down here to take New Orleans. So with that said, let's go ahead and attack. Make ready! We have 1,962 men against 1,433. It's Francois Paul de Vaudreuil who is in command of the French force, while John Churchill, at this point, I don't know how old he is. Last time I checked he was like 80 or something, or was he even 90? He's really old. Right, anyways, onwards to battle. Start off at a pretty nice position. We meet the enemy here marching along the road. We can see the road going straight through here. And there's where we meet the enemy. Now I've set up my massive battery here on the high ground. Sprawling out with all the guns we have, which is a lot of them. Then up on the furthest left we got the Colonial Dragoons, ready to ride into action. Then down here we've got the Provincial Cavalry. Haven't really proved themselves as of yet. Pretty shit unit to be precise. And then down here we've formed into 3 formations. I have grouped these units, so we've got 1 musket unit per 2 pike units. And so the musket unit is going to march in front of the pike unit. We're going to halt. We're going to fire on the enemy. If the enemy comes close, then the riflemen can move back. I'm going to test out with these guys because I'm not too worried about losing them, and actually have them still, like when the enemy attacks, move them back to be in line with the first row, and maybe they would be able to fire and the pikes would keep the enemy at arm's length away, so they wouldn't be able to attack the gunners. They could still fire. Hopefully they're not going to team kill the entire unit, but we'll see. With that, oh yeah, and the targeteers in the back to support if necessary. And with that said, let's go ahead and start. So we're going to start with the first formation here. Right, the enemy bombards us. An absolute fail, and I wonder why. And that is because they fired straight into the ground in front of them. God awful artillery position. This one over here could have done better, but this one is actually moving. So if our artillery was a bit more accurate, might actually have destroyed these guys right at the start. Some shots are actually landing over here. With the enemy advancing on us, and with my position pretty well set up, I think we're just gonna hold it right here. We're just gonna hold the line right here. It's not looking too bad. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move 1 targeteer, the smaller targeteer over here, and the bigger one over here to be able to swing around and attack the enemy. Just because I do have the dragoons over on this side, and what I could do is ride to take this out, or what we could do is we could dismount, in which case they could fire their muskets instead and flank fire on the colonial pikemen. So we could be moving into a position here and then moving to attack them in the flank. Probably need to see about taking out the enemy artillery because I want my cannons. We're gonna focus in on the colonial pike unit over there and over there to really make sure to break their the enemy's right flank, to make it easier on our left flank, and in that way kind of roll them up on that side. Looks like the enemy is actually firing for my dragoons. We have not been able to take out that many of them. I'm thinking actually it might be better to fire a bit more towards the center, and then guns would bounce around, killing loads of enemies. Also at this point we do have fire by rank, so we will see some fire by rank action going. I'm not too happy with the fact that the enemy's general is moving in there. I don't want my unit to fire at will before their... Right, let's see. They're coming. They're soon within range here. Okay, these guys are moving to... possibly moving to intercept my... my cavalry unit. Right, time to open fire here. Make sure that these guys are ready to fire. Here comes the volleys. We probably won't get more than one volley off before we have to retreat. So we'll retreat behind the pikes. And I will now order the units to go into pike formation. You will move into this unit, and then they will move into pike. Let's see, have the Dragoon fired? I don't think they have. Dragoons will continue. These two hold you are without canister, are you not? These will now hold fire, as there's a risk of them firing straight into our own unit. I forgot to send the cavalry to actually attack here. Targeteers will try to stop them. Let's see, how did this work out over here? Okay, so they were... some units seem to be able to fire, but the enemy is also able to attack through. Enemy's general charges straight in. Oh, you should not be shooting like that. We should swing you in now from the flank. Oh, don't go that far. So really need to help the targeteers by sending in the dragoons ready to fire into the enemy's back here. Nice shot. Let's see, second rank. Good shot. Keep that up, guys. Oh, cavalry attacking in the flank. The enemy over here is broken. I'll send the targeteers in still and get the riflemen out on the flank. We still have kind of a large force of Frenchmen over here, so the musketeers will march out in the center, fire through the flank. Let's see, are you guys just in time to see the second volley? 88 Frenchmen left. Come on, second rank. Ooh, they only took 4 there. However, our targeteers are holding on, and it seems to be going pretty well. Hopefully these guys are reloaded, and they're able to shoot down the retreating Frenchmen. Make sure they do not come back. And we can see fire coming out of this formation right here. So this kind of worked, actually. We weren't able to closely look at what was going on, so it could have been that they were team killing, but who knows. Right, the targeteer unit was dispersed, only 10 men remaining. Cannons should probably hold, because they've destroyed 2 of the other cannons right there. We took out the enemy cannon. Very nice. Now the enemy is moving to attack. Well, let's do 3 ranks of the dragoons. Can be right at the back of the... Oh, the French have actually moved entirely to the rear of the unit. I'll order the unit to actually turn around and start cutting them down. What remains then of the enemy army? Nothing more than their artillery position, which my targeteers will be able to attack. Let's have the gunners run away, so that they are not completely killed off. We'll drop the pike walls and attack. And if they still want to fight, which they don't, I can have the dragoons shoot them down. Now they're actually getting shot by these guys. So they're shooting straight into our own formation. Let's see, the cavalry is dealing with this. Targeteers should hurry up and join the fight. Oh, it's the enemy general as well. My cavalry is probably not doing too well. Let's tell the dragoons to mount up and get over here. Where are the dragoons? Why can I not see the dragoons? Oh, because they are completely white out. That's why. My targeteers will move to set up right on the cannons. It's gonna take a while for the dragoons to get back on their horses. My artillery doesn't even reach here. I bet the enemy will retreat, however, once they're unable to recapture the guns. So the enemy general is moving in. Oh no, the drummer! They killed the drummer! Targeteers should have quite an easy time, just by the numbers, to take out the enemy artillery crew, but also, in extension, the enemy general. They are shattered and are running. Now, where is the enemy general going? What unit is this? Ah, my musketeers. My musketeers should be ready, as the enemy general is closing in. That cannon shot failed. Fire! Oh, and he goes down in the volley. Votrez-vous! He died just behind here. There he is. Kind of a skilled shot here, because he was behind this mound as they shot him. But these are, of course, veteran troops of my American campaigns. Right, with that we have... Oh yes, I definitely need to remember to turn up the time. I did not notice that. That could have been disastrous. With that said, let's go back to the campaign map. Here we have the results of the battle and the votes of England. No, 400 men lost out of 1900 of our own. The enemy lost 1200 out of 1400, meaning they only had 200 left. Kills goes to pikemen, heavy pikemen, colonial pikemen. Arquebusiers actually end up before the... Wait, which one is the matchlock? This is the matchlock. The arquebusier is this unit. So the arquebusier actually outdid the matchlock unit, even though the matchlock unit is a lot better than the arquebusiers. Let's count then, though, how many... so we can see that we killed... The difference between the kills and the losses of the enemy means that every single loss of the French was done by us. However, we can see that we had about 150 team kills, as it were. So that's quite high. So I wonder if that wasn't inflicted. It could have been very much inflicted by cannon shot. It could have been inflicted by a lot of things. But I could imagine that it could be the arquebusiers shooting that pike unit on the corner. But it's hard to tell exactly. The important thing is that we won the battle. And unfortunately, those 200 French troops survived the bloody battle. I guess we'll have to pursue them. I do have my generals down here. They're moving north. We have troops here. Could possibly be moving out. There's a risk. There's only 200 men. I imagine any kind of militia unit rallied by any of these towns would be sufficient to cut them down if they're only 200. Let's go ahead and see how old. He's 75. Why did I talked about 85 or 93? But he's the absolute most glorious, best general ever. But I don't know how well he would be remembered in history. Well, he has conquered all of North America for us, so that's pretty big. But not maybe as big as, say, Townsend's achievement, Lionel Townsend's achievement of taking Portugal, taking Madrid, taking Gibraltar, taking Morocco. That's probably gonna go, because it's roughly during the same time period, that's probably gonna be a bigger bigger achievement. And also his exploits up in Flanders and stuff like that, so he's probably gonna overshadow him, even though we know that John Churchill is the better general. I mean, the stars are even, like, they're going out of the picture. Like, soon they'll go out of the roster thing. We're gonna go ahead and end turn. We're gonna see what happens, and then we're going to end it. And before I end turn, I'll remember to edit it so that the time limit is set to 60. We are back. We've got a letter of demands from the Spanish nobility. They are unhappy with the fact that we torched the place completely. They are so unhappy, in fact, 33 minus for the lower classes and 19 minus for the upper classes. We're gonna have some very big revolution going on in Spain. We can see that the French force has moved in. Not entirely sure what they're trying to do. And also the workers are on strike in Spain, so everyone's unhappy in Spain. Woodland Preacher. New town emerge. Mohawk. I'll guess we'll make a crafts workshop there. Severed heads. Something something. Very dark. The French are actually digging in. I wonder... detach a force to go and smash them and bring the main force down to deal with these. It's only 200 enemies. Thing is, we can do the same kind of progress going along the coast, I guess, to get to New Orleans. So we'll go down this way. Let's make sure to replenish. How much money do I make? 17,000. That's a lot of dough. We're turning this province pretty good. Nice, nice, nice. There's a lot of stuff I need to just fix up the production of everything over here. What we need to do right now is nothing really. Oh yeah, I was setting this trade navy, which I'm gonna set off, and I'm gonna move to the East Indies to trade in spice, because the ones that control spice controls the universe. Hadn't I done that already? What we need to do is we need to build up this. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't already start. No, naval architecture is needed. 9 turns. We're 7 turns away from getting the late musketeer. Oh, a lot of units. Pikemen, Earl of Argyle. 6-pounder late artillery, Grenadiers, Coldstream Guards, Lord Admiral Maritime Regiment of Foot, Grenadier Earl of Bath's Regiment, Pikemen, Earl of Bath, 4-inch mortars, Heavy Pikemen, the Holland Regiment, Lord Cutts Regiment, 9-pounder artillery Shakers, late, Matchlock Infantry, late, 24-pounders, late, Fusiliers, might not actually get those, 24-pounders, Demi Cannon, late, 12-pounder Line Infantry Bath Regiment, Bearskin Grenadier Lord Admiral Maritime Regiment, Grenadiers English Foot Guards. That's a lot of stuff we get from this procurement. That's what I'm gonna look. That's what it's supposed to say. Right. There's a lot of minute details I need to sort of go over and build and diddle-daddle all over the place. But I think we'll go ahead and end there so I can go ahead and do that. So, as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!